Hi everyone and welcome. So today's demo we are going to be creating a NAT gateway for our private subnet. If you remember in the last video we created a VPC, we created two subnets, public and private, created root tables, attached our internet gateway to the VPC, and we also edited the routes to allow traffic. So in that video we focused on the public subnet, while in this video we are going to be focusing on the private subnet, just to see how the connection is like and how to connect using SSH. SSH means secure shell. So I've created my VPC already. I have my VPC here. I have my subnets, private and public. For the root table, I created just the public root table. And for the internet gateway, I created an internet gateway which I attached to the VPC. So if you missed the previous video, you can go back and watch it. It's about how to create a VPC from scratch and how to assign public and private subnets to it. So I'll also drop the link so you can go back, go through the video, and then flow along in this second demo. Now, what's a NAT gateway? A NAT gateway is just something that allows your private subnet to access the internet indirectly, and it doesn't expose your private subnet to the internet. So when you attach a NAT gateway, you can download updates and you can communicate with external resources without being directly exposed to the internet. The purpose of a NAT gateway is to let your private instance access the internet without exposing it. So that's what we are going to be doing in this video, and we're also going to be testing our connectivity to see if we can SSH into our EC2 instance. So now let's get right into the video. Since I've created these resources already, one thing I want to point here is that for my public root table here, edit subnet associations, it's already set to the public subnet, right? And then for the subnet section, for my public subnet here, I want to show you something. When you go to edit subnet settings, here I allowed auto assign public IPv4 address, so you have to check this box. If yours is not checked, you need to go back to your public subnet settings, enable it, and then save here. Okay, so let's start. Search for EC2. Now we are going to launch two instances, one public and one private. So click on instances, launch instance, pick a name for your well, let's start with the public instance. So pick a name. What name are we going to use? Let's say my public server. Public server. Leave it at the default Amazon Linux. Let's select Linux 2 AMI. Is also free tier eligible. Instance type, leave it at T2 micro. Key pair, let's create a new key pair for our instance. Key pair name, let's say my key. It's going to use RSA, and the private key file format to be .spam. This is what we are going to use to connect to SSH in our private subnet. It here for use with open SSH. So create key pair. Our key pair has been downloaded. Okay. Now for the network settings, let's edit it. Pick your VPC that you created. Subnet is public, so select the public subnet. Enable this, yes. For security group, let's create one. Let's say my EC2 server security group. Description, say security group to allow traffic to EC2. Right, then the type is SSH, this source anywhere, this 000, and then launch the instance. All right, so our instance, our public server is ready. Let's create the private server. Launch instances. Let's see my private server. Same settings, Amazon Linux. Change this to Linux 2 AMI. It's just my preference. Instance type is T2 micro. Key pair, we're going to use the same key pair that we created, my key. Network settings, edit. VPC, my VPC. Subnet. The subnet has to be the private one, so yes. Auto assign public IP, disable it because this is the private subnet. Security group, let's use the same security group that we created. So select existing, pick my EC2 server. Right, and then let's launch our instance. So our instance has been created successfully too. So the next step is to SSH into the public and private EC2 instance and test our internet connectivity. So we are going to start by SSHing. I don't know if that's correct, but we are going to connect to our EC2 instance, the public server first. So to do that, select, let's see if our instance is ready, by the way, running, initializing. So let's wait a little for this status check here to be 2/2. Okay, so our instances are ready. The public and the private instance or virtual machine is ready. So let's start with the public server. Click on the public server and click on connect right here. Now we have 4 options to connect to this instance: EC2 instance connect, session manager, SSH client, and this EC2 serial console. So we'll be using the EC2 instance connect, and it's telling us that you have port 22 open, that's SSH. It's open to all IPv4 addresses because in our route we selected this here to be accessible to everybody, this 0.0 slash this here. So we are going to connect using EC2 instance. This is our public IPv4 address and this is our username, EC2 user, and then click on connect. Now it's going to open a session for you, which is the cloud shell. This is where we are going to run our commands. Yes, opens this environment for you. So now let's switch to the root user, and to do that we need to do sudo su. Sudo means super user do, sudo su, and then let's see yum -y updates. Let's see if we have any package or packages to update. Oh, we have none. Okay, so now we've already attached the internet gateway to the public subnet. All right, now let's see if we can SSH into the private EC2 server from this public server right here. And to do that, we are going to need the key pair that we created when we were launching the instance and the one we downloaded. So we are going to open that key pair and save it in our local machine. Okay, so now go to your downloads, open key pair, use any app to open it, copy this from beginning to the end, copy this, and then now we are going to save it in our local machine. And to do that, let's create one, vi What do we name this now? Let's just name it my key.spam. My key.spam. Enter. And now press I to insert, and then paste the key pair that you copied. So this is what it looks like, right? And then press the escape key on your keyboard and colon WQ to save and exit. Enter. So let's confirm it's saved. ls means list. Here we have our key here, my key.spam. So that has been done successfully. Now the next thing to do is to see if we can change the permission for this key file. So to do that, type chmod 400. This gives it the read permission. My key.spam. My key.spam. Enter. So yes, we've already given it the necessary permission. To confirm, you can do ls-l. So here you can see read permission has been assigned to my key.spam right here. Okay, so that's been done successfully. Now let's see if we can SSH into our private instance, right? So SSH ec2 dash user, that's our username, at now we need the IP address of our private server. So let's go to our instance. This is our private server, and let's see details. This is our private IPv4 address. Okay, so let's copy it. You need to know this 10.0.1.104. So you come to the instance connect and put 10.0.1.104, then dash I, and then the key pair, my key dot spam, and enter. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes, I do. All right, so that has been done successfully. So congratulations if you've gotten to this stage. So now let's switch back. We are currently in the private server. Let's switch back. You can, how I know I'm in the private server, because I can see my username right here, ec2-user at my private IP address. So I know I'm in my private server. So let's switch back to the root user, sudo su. Let's switch back to the root user, sudo su, enter. So now we are currently in the root user, and let's do yum dash y update. Let's see if we still have any package to update. Give it some time to update. So now here we go. We cannot SSH into our private, sorry, we cannot update this because we don't have access to the internet. It's saying timeout. One of the configured repositories failed. Contact this, reconfigure this, run the command, disable. This just shows that we don't have internet access from our private server. We don't have internet access at all, and this is so because we have not created our NAT gateway. Like I said, our NAT gateway is what allows us to have internet access. So is what gives the private subnet, our private subnet, internet access. So we've not created our NAT gateway, so we can't connect to the internet. We cannot update any package. So now let's go back to our console and create our NAT gateway. VPC. Scroll down to NAT gateway. Create NAT gateway. Alright, so now give your NAT gateway name. I'll just say my NAT G. subnet. It now in that gateway is always created in the public subnet, irrespective of the fact that you are using it to connect to your private subnet. You need to create your NAT gateway in a public subnet. So select your public subnet right here, connectivity type public, and now we need to allocate an elastic IP address to our NAT gateway. This is because when you stop your instance, the this is to prevent the IP address from changing. So if you don't allocate an elastic IP, whenever you stop your instance, your IP address will change, and that can cause some problems. So now we need to allocate elastic IP so that whether we stop our instance or not, we have that IP address allocated constantly to our instance. And then create NAT gateway. So that's the work of an elastic IP address. Okay, so this has been created successfully. Now we need to update our root table and configure our NAT gateway that we just created. So go to root tables. You will notice that we have the public root table here which we created, and if you scroll, you'll see you also have a second root table here. This, if you check the details, you'll see that it's connected to your VPC. My VPC which we created is connected to it, but we didn't create it. Yes, it was created by default when we created our VPC. So now this is what we are going to be using to connect to our NAT gateway, not the public root table that we created. I hope this is clear enough. So we are going to use this one right here to connect to our NAT gateway. So click on actions, edit routes, add a route. Now internet everybody 0.0.0, select NAT gateway here. For NAT, choose my NAT G that we created and save changes. So that has been done successfully. Now that that has been done, let's go back. Now that that has been done, let's go back and connect to our public instance again, our public server. Connect. Connect. Okay. Let's do sudo su ls. We have it here. So now let's see from this public server if we can connect to our private server again. And now let's do ssh ec2 user at, what's the IP address of our private server again? That should be 10.0.1.104, right? Dash I dash my key dot pem. Enter. So we've connected to our private server. Congratulations if you made it to this point. So one more thing, let's see if we have any updates to if we have any package to update. Yum dash y updates. Enter. All right, we need the root to perform this command, so let's switch to our root user, sudo su, and run the command again, ssh ec2 user at 10.0.1.104 dash I my key dot pem. Enter. Yes, I'm sure. Now let's run the update command again. Yum dash y updates. Voila, we have some packages to update. Remember in the previous section when we try to update this, when we try to run this command, it didn't go through. But now that we've attached our NAT gateway to it and we run the command again, you can see that it has updated some packages for us. So I hope you follow through, and you can see the IP address of our private instance right here. So using a NAT gateway, we've been able to connect to our private subnet and get internet access. So I hope you follow through. Let me know if you got to this point and if you understood what we've done so far. We've come to the end of this video, come to the end of this demo. Remember to terminate your resources so you don't incur extra billing if it's not for production use, and then I'll see you in my next video. Thank you and bye.